Go over there.
Let me check it out. Is it good, babe?
Yeah.
Straight. Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. Today I'm coming at you guys with the long-awaited CRYSTRON deck profile. It would have had, well, it had to go through a revision due to the ban list. There are some cards in the main deck, and it definitely affected and impacted this deck in a good and a bad way. Changed a lot of things. Some combos can be produced, but basically this has to be a revision list. I want to show you guys the original list, but I have to get your feedback on that because it had banned cards. So I didn't want to show that just because I knew it received controversy. But with that out of the way, this list that I'm coming at you guys with today, this is like a CRYSTRON slash Salamangreat slash, let me double check, Crusadia slash Crusadia list. I like it. It's really fun. It's awesome. It reminds me very much so of the original list that I played. There are certain cards that I sold and had to move for some dough. So there's certain cards like Appaloosa and like Totally Awesome, and like Borlo Savage that I can't show you guys. So like there's certain cards that like this deck can make that I'm not playing right now. Just wanted to put that out there. But this list, it does do a lot of the similar things that the original list could do. It's just the one thing that I can't make right now is a consistent Naturia Beast. And that's the one thing the Predaplants offered because Brilliant Fusion allowed me to interact with the Trick Clowns consistently to make Naturia Beast. So Brilliant Fusion being banned just made me want to take out the Predaplants. Even though they're Cherubini Turbo cards and they still can give me like instant fusion and added value, it's just not there for me. I was thinking even like Super Poly for like interactions of like going like a first turn like Predaplant combo to like search Super Poly and then make a Cherubini and do CRYSTRONs like that and just kind of have like a control variant where I'm just like searching Super Polys, but even that's out. So I took out the Predaplants and replaced them with a compact Salamangreat engine, and it filled similar niches and also expanded a variety of the playstyle and allowed me to have options that I never had before. So also forgive me because I'm losing my voice a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys the main deck. I'm going to explain card choices as I go along. Also, I want to let you guys know before I start, I do have a Patreon and a PayPal. Please send some money to your boy. Help me to eat. Support my dream. I got you guys this all love around here. But regardless of whether or not you guys help me out, I'm still going to get this profile started. So we're going to start with the best card in the main deck, Foolish Burial. The reason why this is the best card in the main deck, first and foremost, is because it produces, I want to say, just like this in tandem with us, any kind of interactive hand just produces ridiculous results. It's always going to bait an interruption. It's always going to force a negate. And this itself can't force a negate all the time, but it's what you dump that will. Because this is just, it's too good. Like, this is Cherubini, literally, like Cherubini does what this does. And this is like, it's insane, you guys. Like, if I could play 20 of this, I would just take 19 cards on my deck and play 20 Foolish Burials. Like, this is the best card in the deck. It's insane. But starting off with the real cards. Just kidding. So we got the CRYSTRONs. We got 3 Soul Fefanirs. So Fefanir is definitely one of the most heaven-sent cards for the CRYSTRON archetype. It came out in Raging Tempest, so it's not recent, but this card just changed how this deck can be played. If my CRYSTRON players are out there right now watching this profile, you guys know the struggle is real. This deck is very difficult to pilot. It does require skill and patience, and it's not to say that it's not for everyone. I'm just going to say that it will sometimes get on your nerves trying to figure out how to tweak it, because it'll produce results and it'll make boards, but sometimes it won't do what you want it to do, and you just kind of have to train your brain to get it to do that way, to operate that way. But so Fefanir made it a lot easier to pilot, just giving us an additional outlet to kind of facilitate the combos. So he's a really, really good card. He also gives you consistent follow-ups and contingencies for your next turn, and just kind of allows you to grind it out. So it's a really, really good card. And allows you to also float and survive OTKs off like Quandex, a Matrix, and this. That's like 3 floaters right there. So continuing with the CRYSTRONs, we play 3 copies of Thisfern. Thisfern, and also paired with Smiger. I would definitely say for your resource games, these are like the best cards for your grinding. The CRYSTRONs, they do have a really, really resilient engine. They can grind. Even if they're only producing 1 synchro a turn, the mechanic of the deck just allows you to just play from the graveyard without any cards in your hand and still fill your hand back up. So it's a really, really good deck in that aspect. One thing I want you guys to be careful with, and just take this advice, is this deck, think of it similar to Thunder Dragons, where you only have like 4 activations and you can only use 1 of each of the effects. So just be careful with how you're activating these, and don't be willy-nilly, because if you use the graveyard effect of this turn, you can no longer use the on-field effect. So the thing I want to share with you guys is this Parcel Turtle. I play 3 of him because he's really insane in facilitating so many different inboards and combos. But this is one of the best cards to save as one of the activations you don't do on field. Because his on-field effect will allow you to just summon Citri on command and leave him engraved so Citri can summon him back out to make Quandax. So normally what I end up doing is I'll use this Fern's Graveyard effect, Smygru's Graveyard effect, and Rosenix's Graveyard effect even as an extender just to produce more combos. And I'll save Parcel Turtle to just summon him off of Sylphefnir and use his effect, summon Citri, and that way you can get Quandax, and that could just make magic happen for you. Because if you have like an impact that you search off Smyger, that already can be Black Rose, it could be Trishula, so many different things. It can just be based off of the composition of your starting hand. So even though the deck was fragmented incrementally because of the ban list, it's still so many different things you can do, and the variety of synchros you can make. Just like this pile of cards right here is all synchros that are still not in my extra deck that I could be playing right now. Like even Links, you know, I could be playing. Like this deck can make and do a lot. It's just really like literally the world is yours. Like basically you guys just, you really just figure it out, man. And there's so many different things you can do with Crystron's. But this right here, I feel like this ratio, this pile is perfect. Rosenix, you can play a second if you're the fear of drawing him and you just need him in deck to dump off of you know, Gen X Undyne. But normally it doesn't really affect me that way because Undyne still can just allow me to make Cherubini in that aspect, and it'll just mitigate that issue. So the only thing you could change if you wanted to like make it improved, you could just play a second Rosenix just to mitigate the issue of drawing it and not having it in deck. But anyways, continuing. For the tuners, we played 2 copies of Rion. Rion is probably the best one for the grind because whatever you synchro with always goes back into the deck, and he shuffles from your banish zone too. So it just allows you to put back valid targets like target Rosenix, special it, shuffle it back, and that puts your one of Rosenix back into your deck so you can dump it again if you needed to. So it just helps you to grind and puts back valid targets. So it's just like the best one. And then Citri's the easiest one to use, and it summons any monster, pretty much any monster from your grave. As long as you have the proper machine to make, you can synchro with it. It's just like, these are formula synchrons during the main or battle phase for your opponent's turn. And then 1 copy of Rich Homie Quan. Not only because he's level 1, but because the materials that you synchro with him go to the graveyard. This doesn't put him in grave, this doesn't put him in grave, but this does. That's very important because you just need the follow-up sometimes. Like if you have this Fern in hand, you'll summon it off of him, summon Quandax that way, and then you'll get this Fern in grave, so that way that's a follow-up for you. Versus like summoning this Fern from grave off Citri and it gets banished, you know. So he also allows you to, again, like Rion, just grind. So I like this ratio. The 2-2-1 is perfect for me. Continuing with the Crystron cards, I do play the traps. I play 3 copies of Impact. You can play 2, but I play 3 because of the grind game. With the format being kind of sort of undefined, we still don't know what the best deck is out there, and I know that there are certain decks like trap decks like Alter Guys that they're not always going to be able to OTK you, but they can stretch a game out longer. If you know, they can force a game to be longer, they can stall you out sometimes. So because of that exists, I just really wanted the third one in the main deck because it's really, really strong. Like this, just summoning this Fern back from your banish zone, or summoning back like Rosenix from your banish zone, or like Sylphefnir, just gives you a follow up for your next turn and allows you to have better options for Quandax to synchro on your opponent's turn. So it's just really, really good. And the other Crystron trap that I play as a one-of is just the entry. So entry's activation, it's kind of convoluted, like setting up for it, it's kind of weird, but when you get it engraved, it produces a really, really nutty follow-up, and also some cool interactions on your opponent's turn where you can make different synchros that you normally couldn't, because it can just target a Crystron on field, dump one from deck with a different level, and change its level to that. So basic example is if you have Rich Homie Quan on field, you can use entry to dump, for example, this Fern, targeting him, make him a level 3, and then this Fern can be your follow-up next turn for you to search, and now he's a level 3, so you can make like a different synchro. So I really like entry. A lot of Crystron players don't even like play this card, but I just think it's really good, at least at 1. And then this isn't a Crystron card, but it really does help the engine. There's 2 different dimension deep sea trenches. There are certain hands with the Sally cards, like we have, for example, Foxy, or you'll do Crystron combo, and then you'll just activate this, and for example, you can just get back Sylphefnir. Let's say, like, because sometimes I'll use Sylphefnir to pop something else and won't use its on field effect. So then I'll go like Deep Sea Trench, banish this, then you go Foxy, no effect, link it off, resummon it, pop this, bring this bad boy back, and you could still pop them with other cards, and it's insane, especially when you use, for example, the effect of a Turtle, because I always save Turtle for last. Normally I don't even use him, so when you do that, you just summon Turtle, use Turtle to pop him, and you get a summon off of Turtle and a summon off Sylphefnir, and that's just, it's done. So yeah, this deck is really cool. Like, it can give you a headache, but I definitely will say it rewards you for patience, and it rewards you for just taking the time to just master it. So that's the CRYSTRON. And now for the salads, we play 3 copies of Foxy. Foxy has good interactions with Trench, good interactions with Will, popping floodgates, and it's a Cherubini turbo card as well, so you can get a lot of value out of it. And then we play 3 copies of Spinny. Spinny's a Cherubini turbo card as well, and it's just a 1 card relink Sunlight Wolf. You'll get your Sanctuary, it's going to pay for itself, and you're going to get a relink Sunlight Wolf with a Banelinks Engrave off of 1 Spinny. That's a lot of value. And then we have, 1 Gazelle. Gazelle's still nutty. Some hands, when you draw no salad cards, but you still draw one of your Wills, you just make Cherubini and dump Gazelle for cost, and then just use Will to bring it back. And then you can, that's extenders right there. That can be an Appaloosa or a Skull Dread, or if you play Avermax, just whatever you want, depending on the situation, and whatever you play in your extra deck too. Anyways, it's always going to make a link 4. So Cherubini with Will is just insane. And I like the 3 Wills, because like I said, even if you draw no salad cards, every hand I play, every hand can make a Cherubini, and because it dumps for cost, it's always safe. So this is like a really good card to draw. It just allows you to bait hand traps, and sometimes it can fix your hands because Skull Dread draws 4. The last solid cards I play are just 1 Circle, and then 1 Sanctuary to finish that up. The other thing too with the Salamangreat cards is, even though not all of them can interact with the CRYSTRONs, they can interact with the CRYSTRONs, and they also give me a better grind game. I was also considering playing their traps, but it was just the issue of bricking and me fearing like drawing like a Rage with no Salamangreat cards. So it's gonna take a lot more testing, but I think this deck is really good right now. We have 3 copies of Undyne. Undyne, these are just, the next pile of cards are going to be starters. Undyne's another card that's safe, similar to Cherubini, because it dumps for cost. So if you ever open this with a hand that can make Cherubini, it's really insane, because you can just use this to dump Sofefenir, and then use Cherubini to dump like this run or anything you want, and that's extenders right there. And you search controllers. So minimalistically, if this doesn't get interrupted, this can just make Cherubini by itself, because you just normal this, dump Rosenix, make the token, make Link Spider, special this from hand to Link Spider Zone, link these 2 in the Cherubini, and then make Cherubini dump something for cost, and then it can pay for itself. So you'll go back to 5 cards in hand, then you have a Link Spider and a Cherubini. So Undyne is just really insane in this deck, honestly. Like, it's worth playing. And the next really good starter in this deck is 3 Righty Drivers. You're gonna have to excuse me, you guys. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm losing my voice, and I didn't realize that until I started doing this profile. So 3 copies of Righty Driver. Righty Driver it's kind of similar. It doesn't really pay for itself, but on the follow-ups, if it does resolve and you get lefty, it can allow you to do better plays than you made on your first turn, because once you get Sofefenir Engrave, you can make cards like Carrion Quandrix just on command. And whenever you make this guy on your turn, it's really insane, you guys, because not only can you banish your opponent's monsters, but you can use a CRYSTRON to pop him, use his effect to summon one of your opponent's banished monsters. So it's just insane. So I really like playing the second copy of Lefty Driver, because it adds value for the follow-up, so that you can use Lefty to search for another Righty, and use Righty to summon another Lefty, and then you get to search the third Righty.
Water, babe?
Yeah, babe, please. So I like this engine. It can make like Herald Arclight. Like, for example, you can make Herald of Arclight if you already could go combo without your normal summon. You could just make Herald of the Arclight, just for example, for you to have protection for your combo. And that's just, by itself, this card has a high ceiling this format, because it has a pseudo, kind of like a Macrocosmos thing. So I really like Righty and Lefty Driver. Next up, this card, it definitely has been overperforming, and I wish I was playing it in the past, but it's a new addition, is 3 Chronograph. So this card, in tandem with Time Gazer, fills so many different niches, because it's a starter and an extender. It's a starter because you can just use this to summon Time Gazer, and if you have a normal summon, that can make Cherubini. If you have an extender, that can make Cherubini. So it's a Cherubini turbo card, and also in addition to that, whenever you use a CRYSTRON's effect on field to pop a card you control, you trigger Chronograph on field. So for example, let's say this. You activate Sofefenir's a graveyard effect, discard, summon him, pop itself. Special from deck. On a separate chain, you'll trigger Chronograph, and you can special anything you want from your hand. So he's an extender and a starter, so I just really like this card. And you guys should definitely play this. Even if you're playing pure CRYSTRONs, you should just play this card, because it's insane. And there's like no reason to not play Cherubini in pure CRYSTRONs too, even if you don't want to play like my list, like a 60 card list. So continuing, those are So these are starters, and we'll leave Chronograph there because he can be an extender too in certain situations. This next pile of cards is going to be the extenders. So like I said, it's kind of like a compact Crusadia engine in this deck as well. I don't play any of their links, but I like the main deck monsters. So I play 2 copies of Arborea because she's an extender and she's a tuner. The other thing is she's a level 3, so she can make Cherubini. I play 2 copies of Reclusia because he's an extender, he can make Cherubini, and he allows me to bait cards going second. When you have Cherubini on the field, he's just a free pop. So it's really nice having Foxy and Reclusia, even though they're not CRYSTRON cards. Playing Foxy and Reclusia and like Chronograph just raised my ceiling for going second, so I can play through more interruptions and just break boards. So you guys should just really take into consideration some of my text, even if you don't want to make a template blueprint of this deck like card for card. And I don't recommend copy pasting either, but just consider these as staples. And then other extenders, we play 2 copies of Defrag. It's a hard once per turn, so I just really wanted to just keep it down at 2. But it also can be an additional outlet for you to discard any CRYSTRON cards you need or any solid cards you need in the grave. So it fills other niches too, so I just really like it. It's very versatile. And I play 2 copies of Tracker. This was the I also used to have the Psychic Willaders, but I sold those as well. I've been selling a lot of cards just to make bread, you know, to pay the bills and just kind of just stay afloat. So 2 copies of Tracker. Tracker, again, it's not as good as Willader, but it kind of does act as a Cherubini Turbo card at the same time. And whenever you synchro with it, you do get the boost as well. And then I play 1 copy of Sea Archiver. Sea Archiver, it was at 3 in the original list that I was playing with the Predaplants and everything because it was an insane discard outlet for the Predaplants. But with this list, it was a lot of space issues, but this card is really, really good in this deck. Other thing you guys are going to notice is I'm no longer main decking the Kaiju engine. I'm side decking it, and the Frog engine's not in my main deck because I don't have Totally Awesome and I didn't really want to proxy it. So until I get Totally Awesome, I just kind of felt like I put in the Crusadias and like another card in the deck to kind of just fill the niche of the Swap Frog and the the other stuff. But I do like it, so I'm gonna find a way to keep this in the main deck and then put the Swap Frogs back in. But that's the other reason why you guys don't see the Frogs, because some people that saw the teasers from the deck profile knew that I was playing Swap Frog to make Totally Awesome, because Totally Awesome was some Dewfrog, and Dewfrog protected Appaloosa from like Pankratops, and just other things. It just really raised the ceiling of the board, honestly. So when I get my Totally Awesome back, I'm gonna put that back in. But yeah, continuing, Sea Archiver and also Steam the Cloak. Steam the Cloak is probably one of the best Cherubini targets you can ever play. Like even Burning Abyss should be playing this deck, playing this card. It's just this card. This card's insane, you guys. Like honestly, there's no reason to not play it. Not only is it a tuner, not only is this card an extender, but it can get cards from field to the graveyard to summon itself, which is just even better. The Cloak is just nutty, you guys. Like honestly, this card, I would be playing it at 3. Like I really want to play 3 Steam the Cloak and 3 Archivers, because that in itself can just make combos just happen. It's just, these cards are really, really powerful, but it's space issues, you guys. So ultimately, these guys, what these cards end up becoming is alternative Cherubini targets if I already open the adequate combo pieces. So I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. If I already open a way to get to Gazelle, I won't use Cherubini to dump Gazelle. If I, for example, already hard drew like Sofefenir and this Fern, I won't use Cherubini to dump this Fern. And I don't need to dump Smiger because I can search that off with this Fern. So then that's where these become extenders for Cherubini to, instead of being a starter, Cherubini then becomes an extender for me. So it'll dump this or this, depending on the scenario and the composition of my hand. And yeah, that's the main deck actually. Let's get into the extra deck. So we got Skull Dread. Remember, I don't have my Appaloosa, so Appaloosa is like a card that I make very consistently with this deck. So it's not there. So Skull Dread, I still want to keep them in here, but originally I was just gonna side deck Skull Dread and the Kaijus for when I know I'm going first, because this is just a really, really powerful going first package. But since Appaloosa is not there, this is kind of like a filler Link 4 right now. This could be any Link 4 you guys wanted to. It's just he's Skull Dread for me. But definitely when I get my Appaloosa, this is gonna be Appaloosa, and then he's gonna go to the side deck. And then whenever I go first, I'm just gonna kind of just side out like a Cherubini and put him in. And then we play 2 copies of Cherubini. I don't have an English one. This is the only proxy that I had for the deck profile, but because of the card choices I had to make, and the ban list and everything, and me not having everything that I want because I had to sell cards, I knew that this would just be a good option. And I always wanted to play 2 Cherubinis originally, because this card, the way I thought of it in the algorithm I wanted to kind of adapt to and mimic was like the Dark Warrior or the Goki aspect, where 2 warriors on field made us sold. So whenever I opened 2 level 3 extenders, it was like opening 2 warriors, because any 2 level 3s can make Cherubini. And I feel Cherubini is a little bit stronger and safer on hand traps than I sold, because it has a cost that really allows you to generate advantage. So I felt like it was like the I sold of the deck, and the level 3s were like the warriors. So I felt I really needed my second I sold, basically, because it's really good on follow-ups, and whenever you have a grind game and you can make another Cherubini, there's a lot of options that it opens up for you. So I just really like 2, basically. It's kind of like a CRYSTRON starter card. And I played 2 copies of Sunlight Wolf. The reason why we're playing 2 is just because it allows you to grind better. And having a really Sunlight Wolf, like I said, not only does it allow you to grind better, but it allows you to have the option for if this one doesn't die, you can use Will to summon the second one back, and then you have 2 Link 2s to do whatever you want with. And the other thing too is whenever you pop your Will, whenever you just pop your Will for your CRYSTRON cards, like for example Turtle Pop Will, you can just use Sunlight Wolf to add it back from graveyard, and that just helps you to grind better. So 2 Sunlight Wolves. And the final comment that on the reason why I play 2 Sunlight Wolves is there's a cool combo that you can do, like for example if you open a good hand with CRYSTRONs and a good hand with Salamangreats, where if you have anything that can make a relink Sunlight Wolf plus Will, you can just make Sunlight Wolf, relink him, activate Will, send it to graveyard, summon 2 Salads that are, obviously can be in defense, and then you just make a Skull Dread or an Appaloosa, depending on the situation, or even, you can make Zeraboros, Borload, whatever you want. But that's just, there's so many reasons for playing 2, that's why I play 2. And then I also played Link 1s, I play Bear Links and Link Spider. Dang, babe, my nose is getting stuffy too. Like,
you're getting sick.
I guess so. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'm not getting sick. I'm not getting sick. So I was also playing Link Kuribo, but that was when I was playing Appaloosa. And since I sold my Appaloosa, I was just like, whatever. Link Kuribo kind of just lost its value, because that's really, it really was there for that, to just protect the Oppo. If I didn't open Totally Awesome. So this is necessary because it allows me to start combos, and also searching out the Sanctuary can allow me to turn Foxy into an extender whenever I need to. And the Link Spider is there for the Gen X Undyne combo. That's just it's insane, you guys. If you don't play Link Spider, then Undyne can't make Cherubini. And then for the Synchros, I play 1 Trishula, 1 Carrion Quandax. I play 1 Samurai Destroyer, 1 Dawn Dragster. If you're playing combo, you probably want to make Destroyer, but if you're playing like back row decks, you want to make Dawn Dragster. If you have extra deck space, like if you don't play as many Links as I do, honestly, moving forward in the new revised Master Rule, I probably won't even play Salamangreats in this deck, and I won't play as many Links. You should play a second Dawn Dragster, because it's really easy to make in this deck. And then the Black Rose, you can easily make this on your opponent's turn. You can make this on your opponent's turn. You can make this. You can make any of these on your opponent's turn. This is to bait back rows and bait interruptions when you're going second. You can make this without your normal summon, and then also just discard CRYSTRON cards, Salamangreat cards for cost. If they negate it, then you have follow-ups in your graveyard so that you can bait other interruptions. And then we play for level 4s. I play 1 Herald of the Arclight, and then 1 Quandax. Quandax definitely is another card that if you have the space, you should play too, because if this deck had an Electromite, this would be almost the equivalent for what it does for the deck and the playstyle. It gives you options, and it floats, and it's generic. This is just insane. It raises your ceiling just being able to make this. And in the deck profile, I'll do a little test hand for you guys. Yeah, babe, I don't want no medicine, but I need like some soup or something.
Like Halls?
Yeah, and I need to blow my nose after this video. Matter of fact, I'm gonna power shuffle real quick. Dang. It's 60 cards, man. This is a lot of cards. Power shuffling takes forever. Alright, you guys. Hopefully I draw the nuts, because it's always my fear whenever I do test hands on like deck profiles and stuff. It's like the fear of embarrassment of you drawing all the 1-of bricks, but that's not going to happen. We're going to open nuts. Smiger, Citry, Spinny, Arborea, and Will. Yeah, we drew a good hand. It's a weird hand, but it's good. It's not the best, and it's not like I didn't draw any of the actual starters. I drew like the extenders, but it's okay. Like I didn't draw Undyne. I didn't draw lefty. I mean righty driver. You know, I didn't draw like Foxy or Sulfefenir or you know anything like that. But this hand's still pretty decent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna obviously, excuse me, normal Spinny. Link it off. Summon Balinks. What we did open is a CRYSTRON card, so we can make Cherubini for show, and we can dump this Firm for cost, get Sulfefenir, CRYSTRON combo, and we have Will, so we have extenders. We can do a lot. It's just it's a weird hand, but it's a I would say it's not like a bad hand. It's like a mediocre hand, but it's definitely gonna do some stuff. Grab Sanctuary, Special Arborea. Let's just activate Spinny. It's whatever. Link these two. Like it's banished. You can also just bam right there. Make, you know, Brionic if you needed to. We're gonna summon Cherubini. Japanese, like I said, I don't have English ones. And I definitely can't afford no English one right now. Cherubini's cost. You know, based on the composition of your hand, if you didn't need this Fern, you would dump the Archiver. If you didn't need Archiver, you would dump, you know, Gazelle. If you didn't need Gazelle, then you would dump like Defrag. Even Defrag sometimes. Defrag is a good Cherubini target. If you have like 3-ups, dump Spinny, you know, whatever you need. There's just so many level 3 extenders that you can dump. You could even dump, for example, like Steam the Cloak. And Steam the Cloak can just, it's insane. But I think for this one, I'm going to dump this first. As a matter of fact, yeah, and I'll just use Will like that. I'll just use Will as an extender. What else can I link to? No, I won't link anymore. This Fern, Smiger. Let's activate Smiger. Let's activate Sulfefenir. Discard Smiger. Special and pop itself. What are we gonna special from the deck? We're gonna special Turtle. Yeah, we'll special Turtle. We could also, for example, since we already have Citry in hand, we could, like, let's say I didn't sell my Appaloosa. Like, that's what I'm saying. Extra deck also matters. My extra deck isn't going to be as good as you guys is, because you guys might have the cards I'm missing. Because I used to have these cards, but like I said, I sold them. So, let's say this was the Appaloosa that I sold. Then you would link these in the Appaloosa, right? Bam. But this would be like Scroll Dread for me, like, if I just needed it to be. Or I would just leave this board how it is because it's still decent like that. Then you just make like Oppo right there. And then bam, this is an extender, special that. And then bam, this is an extender, banish that, special that. And you just, you know, you can play it out like that. But I'm just going to play it based off, you know, like I said, the cards that I didn't sell. So these are there. This got specialed off Sulfefenir. And I'd say the next thing we want to do is just activate Smiger. Get Impact. You want to leave Cherubini, it's because there's more value. We can mix Saryuja Skull Dread and then special this, and we have Impact and Citry, so we have synchro options. But dang, leaving this on field is kind of just, you get more value out of it that way. So I'm just going to do it like that. I'm going to set the Impact. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to activate Will, use Turtle to pop Will. And what we're going to do is we're going to special Citry from the deck on command. You know what? That's what I'm also forgetting. I have to open zones. This ain't the new master rule, so I'm gonna have to take a step back. I'm gonna have to use turtle to actually pop the bailings. Turtle to pop the bailings, and then summon it out like that. I forgot about that. So I gotta clear my own zone. That's sad. Someone bust out. There we go. Bust out Citry real quick. If I had if the spinny wasn't banished, it would be really nice to summon it back for synchro options. But we're gonna work with what we got. Synchro these. If we had a second turtle, that would be insane because we could leave that turtle there. Summon the second one for Quandex, and we have like turtle, whatever you summon off impact. That's a big level for synchro summon. So we're gonna go for Quandex here. And since we didn't use since we didn't use Turtle's effect on field, we can use this graveyard effect. Banish it to special summon Citry from hand. And now we have multiple synchro options, so this hand just kind of allowed you to set up for interruptions on your opponent's turn. You have follow-ups, and then you can just use impact whenever you want. Target the discard, summon it, and then whenever you want to, you could synchro like with these, for example, or if you wanted to, if you had the level set up, because like if you add this right here, you got 4, 6, 3, that's 9, and you got 2 tuners. You can synchro for carry on Quandex on your opponent's turn and banish 3 of their monsters, or you can make Black Rose, or you know, it's just whatever you want, honestly. You know, it just depends. But yeah, I think we can do one more test hand. Honestly, it's pretty safe to do one more, and then that'll end the video after that. But hopefully, you guys will be satisfied because this is like a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this deck profile.
Ooh, so you just came over to hug me? So you're gonna just come in and be like, Mom, can I get some of those? Okay, now you gotta sit down and wait. Thanks.
Alright, let's do this. Alright, so we got Sofefenir, that's terrible. Entry, Trench, this looks like a pure CRYSTRON hand. And then we juice Chronograph Sorcerer. So we'll start things off with Sofefenir. Discard entry, special. Effect the Sofefenir pop itself.
Excuse me.
I think we could use the chronograph as an extender in more than one way, but I think making Cherubini is going to be a safer play just for me to get more resources so that I can play for my next turn too. Because I got to think about not just right now, but my next turn. So Cherubini is just going to be safer for value versus just specialing these 2 from my hand right now and just wasting that. So I'm going to do that. And then having CRYSTRON entry in my graveyard too gives me added value, so I'm going to get a lot of follow-ups. Scale Chronograph Sorcerer. We're going to pop them. Summon Time Gazer. Then we're going to link. And summon Cherubini. Cherubini's effect. We got Trench.
Alright, after you eat the soup, get that dog off of there.
And we have a normal summon. That's the other thing that's really good. So